Good morning. This is Morning Coffee, and today we are going to discuss. And if any of you have been writing in your journals, inbox me and let me know how that process is going. I seem to be writing poems and stuff like that in mine, and stuff that happens like in the moment, especially seedy, shady stuff that I know I shouldn't be doing. I write about it in the form of a poem. Kind of makes it palatable. But anyway, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about making decisions and making choices when your life is on the line. And when you finally come to recognize that it is very important for you to project who you are from the inside more than it is important for you to project who you pretend to be on the outside or your representative. In the field that I work in, which is no coincidence that I work in this particular field, I manage a team of people who teach youth who are aging out of the system life skills and independent skills. And then I look at my own life. And I know already some of you are keying in because we have this knack or this niche that we are able to help other people get to the promised land, but we have not done that with ourselves, making our efforts ineffective. I want to share with you that in the process of not living a mediocre or morbid life, because that's sort of like my theme, and that's what's keeping me on track. God created me to be more. There is a process that I have to undergo that deals with the wreckage of my past. And I want to talk about financial wreckage. Now, I'm going to take my glasses off and my hat off for this because it's something that, being 44 years old, having a wonderful job, having accomplished a master's degree, one would think, according to the representative, that I have made it. I have achieved the American dream. However, we live in a society where it says, get the dream, chase the dream, and you still have to pay back the loan, which generally will be far more than what you will make on a yearly basis. Problem number one. So you're not really taught, how to budget, how to take time to understand the value of a dollar, of a penny. And I grew up, and it's no excuse, but this is the reality. I grew up in the projects in Peoria, Illinois. And when I grew up in the projects, my mother, I think, spent most of her time trying to figure out how she was going to feed 6 kids. And although I started working at 14, because there was no man around, a father around, an image around, and not even that, because my mother wasn't even taught, how to do that, which is interesting because my grandmother came from Mississippi and she owned a home, after picking cotton. But I don't think she passed that down to my mother. Well, she couldn't, and that's another story. But anyway, I wasn't taught, like, when I remember when I got my first income tax check when I was like 14, and man, I had never had $300. So, of course my mother, took whatever she could take, and at that point, 25 or $5 was a lot to me because, I wasn't living from paycheck to paycheck. The whole house was living from paycheck to paycheck, and it wasn't even our paycheck. It came from the government. So I never was really taught budgeting skills, and I didn't learn that. And so later on in life, everything that I got that came through my hands, I didn't know the importance of investing it or saving, saving money. I didn't know. So I began to live, my life like that for years. And now it's finally caught up with me. And I'm starting to see that I don't have the financial freedom that I could have. And I need to have that financial freedom. Now, I go to church and sometimes I hear ministers, talk and say, God's going to send you an economic blessing your way, and all your bills are going to get paid. And that sounds really good in theory, and it sounds real good when the music is playing behind what he's saying. But the reality is, and this is the process. Whether God gives me the money to pay those bills or not, I need to be responsible for the wreckage that I created. And it really simply starts with, when the bill comes, open it up instead of taking the envelope and throwing it in the pile, or taking on the attitude that you're going to avoid the creditors, or when you get those certified slips in the mail saying, oh, well, they'll need to know. It's all that financial wreckage, just chasing after me, saying, fix me, fix me. And it cripples me. And it's sad. And it's sad. It's sad that I wasn't taught how to budget. So in the profession that I work in now, I really impress upon these youth. You can get what we call the American dream, which is all magic. But the miracle-minded person needs to have a shift in perception and said, I understand what you're saying, preacher man, but I really would prefer, instead of God letting me win the lottery, or letting money drop out of, I don't know where it's going to drop out of, but I know that I'm not going hungry. I know that there's shelter over my head. I know that I can make it back and forth to work every day. I'm grateful for just doing that. I'm grateful for making it, just day by day. I know some of you understand what I'm saying. But I really don't need you to paint a magical picture while you drive in your nice big car and make things look like everything's going to be all right, when the reality is it's not going to be all right if I don't take responsibility for the bills that I created. Period. It's not. I don't believe God's going to bless my mess. I don't. And I don't need to get into the mind frame of where I begin to, in fact, it was said that in the next 7 days, that some miracle, or not even miracle, I think it was a miracle was going to happen. And I think the miracle that needs to happen is a shift in my thinking, and that is, I need to become accountable and responsible to the people that I owe, period. Even people that I borrow money from. I don't need to focus on so much thinking about whether I'm going to be the lender instead of the borrower. Who gives a frigging crap? When my life is, I'm not experiencing the financial freedom that I know I can experience if I just deal with the wreckage of my past, and I really amend, change my behavior when it comes to my finances. And one way to do that is stop living above my means. To really take an honest inventory of where I need to be at in this particular juncture of my life. Listen, this is something that plagues us all. I was talking to a real good friend of mine, someone that I call my sister, and she was like, it's a curse, especially for people that were born, in families, regardless of your race, but in families where you had one parent that was trying to do it all and didn't have time to teach life skills. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to admit that the wreckage, the financial wreckage, is something that I can no longer live with. So I need to do something about it. And I've already started. I put all my bills together. I just sent out a letter to all the credit agencies so that I can get my credit report. And, I don't care if I got to send some folks $5. And young Levon Zahn said a long time ago, just begin the process and stay in it. I believe God is looking at that. I believe God is giving me the mindset to be blessed in doing just that. That is where my economic blessing will come. Being accountable and responsible to the things and the people that I have taken from and just ignored, paying them back. That's why I can't get ahead. That's why I'm living from paycheck to paycheck now. And it's not a good feeling. And I think as far as being the borrower or the lender, I think we've taken that and played that so big that, who really gives a friggin' crap what you are on either end of the spectrum. The bottom line is, this is an area I need serious help in. And this is where I call upon the Spirit, to really help me. Because I want to know what it's like to go into a car dealership and say, I would like to buy that car, and be freed Not so much that the status of the car, but the status of what's on inside of me that says, I took care of the mess that I created so that I could have the freedom to be able to ask this question without guilt, without reservation, without shame. And that's what's important. So this is morning coffee, and I'm really excited. Some other things are going on. I just started. I love to write poems. I love to write plays. I've been writing a book for years. And when I was 13, I actually got one of those tracks. Remember the gospel tracks? I wish I had saved it. I actually got one of those published, so it reminded me of the gift and the talent. And I was even thinking, that God, we blame so much stuff on God. I was even thinking that God was like, you can get out of this financial bliss. Just use your talent. And then it dawned on me, my talent and my gift are not connected to my financial freedom. My being responsible about the debt that I've incurred is me. Having some kind of integrity that will put me and keep me on the path towards my financial freedom. So once I get the credit reports back, the job is to go through them all. Of course, fight the things on there that I don't believe are mine, and then to make restitution, with these people. And it's going to be a long process. It's not going to happen overnight. So I don't even need to focus on the outcome. Just stay in the journey. This is morning coffee, not your typical morning coffee, but none the same. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Peace. All right, bye. See ya.